If there's one thing that struck me at my time at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, it's the apparent need for communication, which is kind of ironic because I couldn't get that word out. Communication, global communication. People need to talk to each other. They need to send data. They need to receive data. We've looked at pages. We've looked at mobile phones, pocket organizers, pocket computers, pocket PCs, whatever you like. Everything fits in your pocket. What I'm about to show you doesn't fit in your pocket, but boy, does it communicate. Paul Chappell's here from Phillips. How you doing, Paul?
Doing good, thanks.
Lovely. And you've got something quite extraordinary. I've never seen anything quite like this. It's called a screen phone.
That's right.
What exactly is a screen phone?
A screen phone starts with a telephone. You take a computer, you hide it inside of it. So you get some computer functionality, but it still very much remains a telephone. So it's really easy to use, and it does what you want a telephone to do, which is communicate, get small bits of information quickly, and carry out transactions. But it does it better because you've added a text interface here. It opens the door to things like email, for instance. You can send and receive email from these units. And when you plug in the phone, this is just what it looks like, and you're into an email screen in 2 buttons. Hey look, and that's me there. So I could send myself one. From there, you start to be able to integrate with things like the GSM phones, the SMS messaging in the UK.
The SMS messaging, we've got that in the UK, isn't it? It's the ability to send text messages between portable phones, correct?
Right, and in this case, you use the text messaging, you use this to compose and send the text messaging. If somebody doesn't have a PC at home, or even if they do, you see how quickly we could get into the message screen here. You can just do it much faster. You don't have to boot up, log on, dial into a service provider.
I mean, I must admit, from my point of view, that's always been a problem. Not for me, because I quite enjoy that stuff, but for many consumers, people that want to communicate, there's a whole rigmarole attached to writing an email, isn't there? You've got to fire up your stuff, you've got to get your modem ready, you've got to make sure you've got it all set up in the right way. It's a little bit too much hassle. Also, if you're sending a text message, like you mentioned, or talking to a pager, you often have to go through an operator, don't you, which can be expensive and time-consuming.
Right. If you're going to send, a message to this, if one of my colleagues does, we almost always use the screen phones, because our other option is to actually call somebody and have a conversation with an operator who, half the time may not get the message right. You have no control of it. You have no idea what that person's going to see, as opposed to if you make it yourself. Or you fire up the PC, you dial into a service provider, and it just takes much longer that way. So for simple communications features, this is much better. Now, it's not going to replace a PC. No one's going to use this keyboard or this keyboard to type in, a 40-page document.
Of course.
Yeah. You lose your mind that way. But for simple, small things, it just makes a lot of sense that way. Now, beyond the email, once you start to have these computer capabilities, you begin to be able to provide other services into people's homes. Home banking, it's a perfect terminal for that, and it's something we're very interested in and should be unveiling in the UK in '97. This year. So this year. So the ability to pay bills, that you can do that, to see what your balances are, to transfer funds, those things are. You can certainly do them here, and you no longer require the need to have a PC to do that. I've seen that there has been quite a bit of talk about PC banking there, as there has been here, but it means only people who are already online and wired can do that. And then again, even if you are, what we found is half of the users we have in the States have both.
So when you say home banking, you're referring to just checking of accounts and maybe putting your credit card details in, that sort of thing?
Also, actually physically paying bills. You call up, I want to pay the power company, and you just type that in there, and it would automatically debit your account.
Obviously you're aiming this at people who don't want the rigmarole of using their PC, which is already a possibility. Who really are you aiming this kind of product at?
So, well, there's two people, really. It's the people who have sensed that there's this connected world out there that they're not a part of. And they think this is an easier way to do it. I don't need to learn anything about PCs. What we've also found here, and we thought that was going to be our only audience, what we found here, though, is the people who really, really understand PCs are the ones they gravitate towards it, because you don't have to explain anything to them. I mean, if you use email, like you said, there's this whole rigmarole associated with it. For a short message, I get it. Those people you don't have to explain it to. The other ones you have to say, well, there's this thing, the internet, and there's this communications medium called email, and there's this device that you can use to do that communications medium on the internet. Yeah,
and that needs a protocol, and that needs a service provider. I know what you're saying. I mean, so what you've done is you simplified everything, including, by the looks of things, the screen here. I see a distinct lack of graphics. What's going on there?
So one, it's simple. As I said, bank machines. There's a reason, at least in the States, why there's always lines at them. They're really simple to use, and they're simple to use. You don't need a graphic of, dollar bills or something to make it easier to use. You just say $80 and print it out. use the exact same kind of user interface, where it's just a simple text, menus that are on the screen, and we've stripped it all out.
Okay, so you've got that. That's going to be available in the UK when?
This year. It will be, and it should even be in the first half of 97.
Okay, first half of 97, that's current technology, but moving on, and going for the plush graphics and the big black screen and everything.
Okay, now after saying there's no reason why you need graphics, let's move on to one showing graphics.
Excellent.
Because it is important that we give consumers that choice. I mean, Philips can't make that decision and just say, well, we've arbitrarily decided you don't need them. So this device has been engineered with that in mind. You know, you take the processor, make it much more powerful, you increase the modem speed.
I mean, how powerful is the modem and processor in this bit of kit?
So this has got a 32-bit RISC processor in it, which is exactly the same processor as that's in the most powerful of the handheld PCs.
But this model's not actually available yet.
No, it isn't. We haven't even unveiled it in the States yet. It should be in May, and later in '98 for the UK.
So that's just a little glimpse of the future, Paul. Thank you very much. That's Paul Chapple from Philips. Good stuff.